Peace, everyone. Hopefully, you're all doing well. This is Master Menelec. Um, yeah, it's looking a little different today, right? Because the stand that I usually use with my iPod, to record everything, is like a tripod, but one of the legs broke. So I basically had to improvise. So I said, let me try sharing my screen with one of these drawing tablets that I have, right? And you could actually see me as a bonus too. So you can see me off to the left in the tiny little box. But yeah, I'll still be, you're still welcome to join, and I'll make sure the link is in the chat, in the chat. All right. So what I wanted to do today is continue with our discussion on forms. We spoke about forms last session. I think we did a very basic introduction, but I didn't get too far into it, because we were talking about shapes mainly. So with forms, I'm just going to move my face, right? With forms, what you have are basically your two-dimensional shapes and a three-dimensional space. And since my setup is a little different, I won't be able to see you as you talk. So I'll have to shift between windows in order to get the comments. All right. So I'll check in periodically. But, just in case I miss you, peace to everyone coming into the space. And let's get into it. Okay. So I'll go with the corresponding shapes that we covered. Of course, we have circles, right? 2D version, and I'm still getting used to this drawing tablet, by the way, so bear with me. But you have your circle there. That's okay. Kind of like I don't know, sound like a bad pancake, but it's okay. All right. Next thing we have is a square. My best attempt at a square with this thing. It's not totally square, but close enough. Then of course we have the triangle. And rectangle. And we were talking about angles, quadrilaterals. Okay, there we go. Yeah, pentagons, hexagons, sectagons, decagons, all the gons, right? All the polygons. But now we're going to deal with shapes that have a little bit more dimensionality to them. So with your circle, three-dimensional version of a circle is, oh, that was right there, so close. Three-dimensional version of a circle is a sphere, right? With your sphere, whoops, how do I do that? Told you I'm getting used to it. It's all right. When you're dealing with your sphere, the main thing that makes it, see if I can erase that a little bit there. The main thing that makes it three-dimensional is the fact that it has a third dimension of depth. So you have height and you have weight, but now we have depth, right? And to illustrate that, you can say you have your x-axis, your y-axis, but you also have something that seems to go receding into space. and something that comes towards you in space, right? And this would be your z-axis. Okay, so try to imagine it like that. And the thing that helps us to illustrate the z-axis is, let me get a bit more size, shading. And we'll get into light and form, the relationship between the two. But shading just helps you to recognize that something exists within three-dimensional space. That's the main purpose of shading, right? This thing exists within 3 dimensions. It's not sitting flat on paper. You can actually walk around this thing in space. And that is very helpful for whatever it is that you may be trying to do. Since I have the luxury of using a digital medium, I'm just gonna be just gonna be taking advantage of that and moving this over here, making it a little smaller. But keep it in mind though, not you, I'll put it up here, right? X-axis, Y-axis, Z-axis, and done. Okay, so that's your sphere. Next we have the cube, right? Or cuboid shape. So you have your regular square. Hey, do stuff. Why ain't you doing stuff? Oh, I have to deselect the thing. Okay, so you have your square, and what we're going to do now is draw a few lines receding into space, right? Same here. Receding into space. And that would be a z-axis. And then you're just going to connect them. Something like that. See if I can clean this up. Let me check on what's going on inside the chat. Peace, Manaya. Put a 1 in the chat if the sound is coming through clear. It sounds scratchy on my end, but it might be because of I have the gift of Wi-Fi issues. Okay, so that's the basic cuboid shape. And some of the things that you can do with spheres and cubes, which are super useful. Spheres help you to very quickly make shapes, as we could have seen with circles and ellipses, what I was capable of doing with those. And then we also have, I don't know why that did that. Why are you here? Oh, that's why you're here. These things are so finicky. Okay, so that's your cube, and we'll come back to its uses. Then, of course, you have a cone, like the movie Coneheads. And so you have your cone that's rounded at the bottom. It's not like the triangle where I drew a straight base. So this is rounded at the bottom. And what I can do with each of these is I can add a little bit of depth to them. Right, now they look a little bit more three-dimensional. I can do the same to this one, but it's similar to the cube where I want, let me make this a little sharper. I want the lines to wrap around the form, right? I want it to wrap around the form. And these types of lines help to establish that this is three-dimensional. So same thing, I want it to wrap around the form. And I'm going to put my lines of shading in a similar fashion. There you go. Now it looks a little bit more three-dimensional, right? And if you do click the link to join in, please let me know because I cannot see anything on the back end. Okay, and the next one, the last one is going to be our rectangle. Let me get my size back. Let me check the comments to see if. Okay, the sound is coming through clear on everyone else's end. It's just me with the sound issues. Oh, that's fine. I'll live. So now we have our rectangle. It feels like an extra challenge to try to draw like this, right? Now with the rectangle, you have two options actually. I guess it's kind of similar with the square shape, but with rectangles in particular, what you would normally see are either an elongated cuboid form. I'm trying to remember these on my head. I remember these sessions are just me practicing out loud, and whoever wants to practice with me, they can do so. So if you got your pen and paper or whatever materials you got, even if you got to improvise like I'm doing now. Okay, so you got an elongated cube, and I swear I'm gonna get the hang of this thing. So I'm moving extra slow. All those line drills, and now it feels like I gotta do them all over again. And same exact way, add a little bit of depth to the shape. But you also have a shape that looks a little something like this. Try to just draw a little bit more naturally. Okay, that felt a little better. All right, this is what you would call an ellipse. And this is super important for when you're dealing with forms. And you want to make very quick marks for shapes. Like the next one we're going to cover, which is the cylinder. So a cylinder is sort of like a rounded rectangle. And let me just put, could you just move, please? Let me use this. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so that's an ellipse, right? And ellipses are important because if you want to do something like this for a cylinder, you make a quick ellipse at the top, a quick one at the bottom. You draw your vertical lines to connect it. Jeez, this feels weird. Okay, and now you have what's called cylinder, right? And of course, I can add my lines here and making sure they wrap around the form. Right, so you have your cylinder now. And you can basically use these shapes, right? These 4, technically 5 shapes to create any shape, really. Drawing them at different angles with, or even cut them off. So you may have a sphere like this. And let's say there's something sitting in front of it. So there may be a cube sitting in front of it. And the cube is going to cut off a little bit of the sphere. Right. So there is your square and your circle. And then you can just cut it off. You know, you can erase what doesn't fit. Yeah, man. So let's say I'll use a different layer too, which I kind of like because I don't have to move to different pages or anything like that. But yeah, um, hopefully that's easy to follow so far. I'm gonna get into a little bit more uses. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna hide this and this. We can talk about uses uses for it. Uses. We talk about uses for it, right? So if you wanted to, let's say, do something like this, when you look at an image like this, it's just forms. You know what I mean? You have spheres, you have cylinders, you have cubes, and you even have some like right down here, if you can see this mouse, you even have some cones, right? And these help you to define forms in space, right? They help us to design really different things that we want to try. Um, and a lot of it begins with those gesture lines that we talked about before, where the gesture line, I hope you guys can see, follow this mouse thingy. Because I can't see what's going on in the chat, but it helps you to follow the line of action that goes along the spine, along the arms, along the legs. Oh, well, here's what I'll do, right? Make this a little bit more, where's the opacity? I should at least be able to do this. Lower the opacity. I'll duplicate this one so I don't mess with stuff. I'll make this one invisible. Okay, so I'll draw the line of action if it allows me to. Can I draw on it? Cannot draw on it. Whoops. I'm doing a lot of stuff here. Give me a second. Yeah, they don't let me draw on it. So I'll try drawing on this one. Aha. Okay, so those are your gesture lines, right? From head to the base here. That's one gesture line. And then you have another that goes roughly like that. And then, yeah, so it's something similar to that. This one, the gesture line, and I'm just following the spine, goes like that. And these gesture lines help us to understand where the flow of energy is going. Right? So if we want to follow these gesture lines now, or we want to create a gesture and we want it to have a certain sense of energy or direction, we can follow these very arbitrary lines for different results. All right, I'm really liberal with these layers here. I guess I could delete this one. Clean, keep it clean. Made these invisible as well. All right, so let's talk about these lines then, because as we draw and make forms, what I'm trying to do is I want to really be able to just have a feeling or an expression and express it in the form of a line. And then this is an exercise I saw. I can't remember the teacher's name. Let me see if I can pull his video up in the background, but you guys can't see it. Stop. I didn't ask you to do that. There we go. So his name is Professor Leon, right? I'll put his link in the bio, Professor Leon. But he had a really good sketching practice technique. And what he did was he just drew lines, right? Oh no, that's not a good one. Let's see, let me do something that feels a little bit natural. I guess that could work. That one also works. That one also works. Let's go with these three, right? And you can follow along with this one. I think it would be really fun to follow along with it. But utilizing shapes like cubes and spheres and cones, and cylinders, he would draw forms that would conform to the line, right? So he would draw the forms along the line, and they would sort of conform with the directionality of wherever the line was headed. And I thought it was a really cool. I thought it was a really cool exercise, and I enjoyed doing it. So I'm gonna do that with you all, so we can see just how versatile cones and cylinders and spheres can be. So let's say we start out with a sphere. Easy one, right? Easy peasy. You know what? I think I missed one. Along with all of those that we can do, there's actually another one that is pretty useful, especially if you're practicing shading. But you can also have like this egg-shaped form. What do you mean I can't draw one? Oh, okay. So rather than just having a simple sphere, it'd be more of a sphere with a cube, not cube, a cone tip. Right, so you have your egg shape there. And those come in handy too, depending on whether or not you want depending on what you're attempting to do. I don't know what you're attempting to do, but I think they come in handy. And whatever. Okay, so back to these lines, right? Let's see if we can get a few done before the end of the session. So that's a sphere here, right? Oh no. Okay, so that's the sphere. And I can also say, so let me draw a cube. Well, I'll do a cylinder. All right, and I'll follow the contour of this line here. So it'll be coming like that, but I'll follow the contour of the line. And I won't make it that thick. It'll be something like that. I'll see if I can improve my line work with this tablet thingy, because it feels real funny. I'm so used to feeling paper underneath my hand. I never realized, well, I did realize, that's why I kind of avoided using tablets for so long. Let's see if I can make this a little sharper. Let's see how this works. Yeah. Give me a second. Favorites. Charcoal pencil. Oh, I know what I can do. This is what I can do. How do I move around this thing now? Whatever. You can see it a little better. That is too dark. What happened to just pressing on thing harder and getting better results? I'm trying to get sharp lines. Let's try this one. Hey, that could work. Okay. That's a little bit sharper. So let's try another cylinder for the sake of it. And I'm still following the shape. A rectangle, sorry. Another rectangle. Maybe I'll do a cylinder next. Make it a little wider. Okay, let's try a cylinder. One ellipse here. Following along the line. Okay, got the macaroni going on there. Of course, we have a cone here already. What about that egg shape I was talking about? I do like that it has pressure sensitivity though, so I can start light and then go a little harder. Let's see if I get. I think it's a real simple exercise, but it's really cool for playing around with shapes inside of space. And there you can see that original gesture line. Right. And you can just play around with shapes and how they can move around. So let's see. I'm trying to see what I can do with this shape here. Oh, I know what I can do with this one. So I'm going to try to attempt to draw a figure with this shape over here. Let's say this person, this is their head. These are going to be a lot of sketchy construction lines. Maybe I'll clean them up moving into the end of this. Let's say this person is facing this way, right? They're turning their head this way. So this would be like kind of the back of their jaw. Facing that way. That would be their neck. This would be, let's say their shoulders are like this way. I don't know, I guess they're on all fours. Let's say that's the hip there. I won't put that there. Or maybe I will. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Let's say this is their arm. I guess foreshorten a little bit. And that's the fingers, of course. And I said that pointing off into the distance with this long ET middle finger looking type of appendage. Okay, that's a little better. And these are just, just shapes, just basic shapes. I mean, basic forms. Sorry. So that's the feet, foot stem. Right, but you see how I was able to just draw a form, and just following that gesture line, I was able to put some of these forms on the gesture line and create something like off the top of my head. You know what I mean? I never even tried to use a form with this. I was still stuck on this part. So it's a very intuitive process once you understand. I need slides. But once you understand how these basic shapes and forms operate, right? With spheres, you have a function where it can help you to connect shapes to other shapes. It can act as a sort of, like in your body, like how you have an arm, you have that ball and socket joint. So you have this ball right here that you can use at different joints, and they just help you to make turns when it comes to how your joints are formed. Right. And then you can use rectangles for more solid structures, like your upper body and your hips. And you can use cylinders for your limbs, your arms and legs, right? So you have joints, you have limbs, you have your hips, your rib cage, and then of course you have a circle, or maybe even this egg shape, right? Because this can be your chin here, and this can be the top of your head here. So you have an upside down egg shape, and you have everything you need to make a human body. See, let me go to the chat. Okay, can't see the mouse panel. Okay, so hopefully that's making sense. I don't even know how long we've been on, because I usually have the counter going, but I don't know how long we've been going. 40 minutes. I actually think this is a good point to leave off on. You have your shapes and you have your forms, and you even have exercises that you can use that And I'll see if I can find some more too. 'Cause I'm really just grabbing a lot of resources and like this is what I use to practice this strong. So yeah, I wonder if I could do something else. I wonder if I try like a head spin. This one might be a little ambitious, so we'll play this one by ear. Yeah, this one looks like a head spin though. I don't know. And I'm just drawing basic shapes for this one, just to see if I can follow the gesture. Haha. Yeah, I can see that happening. I don't know. I'm just using my imagination when it comes to how these forms can work. Of course, it could be a cuboid shape. Well, I gotta say, one of the advantages to, hey, I could bend his leg this way, can't I? My leg! One of the advantages to using digital media is you don't have to worry about running out of paper. You could always resize stuff, move it back and forth. Let's say his leg is bent over like that. Yeah, so that's the foot stem. I don't know how balanced this is though. We'll get into balance in another series because there's elements of art and there's also elements of design. Balance is it. I think it typically falls under the elements of design. But I think it's a really nice. I think it's a fun exercise to use if you're practicing form and different gestures and things like that. Look at that handstand. Ah, okay. I think that's it. I had enough fun tonight. Yeah, that's true. I didn't put any. Let me do this at least. A little bit of a big O. I think I'm having a little bit too much fun with this. At least get a shadow going on underneath this person so they're not floating in space. Okay, I think that's it. I had enough fun with tonight. But yeah, this is just like the intro to forms. I'm just having fun exploring this one. I couldn't wait to get to this one because I really tried to keep lines exclusive to the line segments and shapes and lines exclusive to the shape segment. Now I finally get into forms, which is like my favorite part because you get to make things look three-dimensional on a flat surface. Although it's one of my favorite aspects, it is something that I still need work on. So I'm just looking forward to, getting better at it. But get out of here, you crazy kids. Um, oh, I'm glad it was fun on the radio. Hopefully, you guys will, drawing and studying on your end. Um, I'm getting ready. I really want to improve my ability to just draw a portrait on the fly. And I think I'm getting the hang of it. Maybe at the next Anu retreat, I can what's the other one? Was it this one? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, maybe at the next Anu retreat. For those of you who aren't aware, who may be tuning in, my community is Anu Life Global Ministries. You can check out the website, anulifeglobal.org. But we have seasonal retreats, right? Every season we have a retreat. We get together, we converge in one space. We laugh, we have fun, we have bonfires. We have it's a retreat, retreating from what you normally do. You have to wake up and go to work and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next retreat. Maybe you could do some fun stuff with portraits, like live portraits. There, I'm trying to get that good again because I did do a very there was a period when I was younger when I did like speed sketching, and it was really fun trying to get people's likeness in a very limited space of time. So I'm working my way up to that. After, of course, ironing out my fundamentals with this series. So yeah, I'm glad you guys were having fun with this one. Stay tuned. We'll be back same time next strong to continue with forms. All right. Until such time, y'all have a good night. Enjoy your rest. Peace.